Morning everyone, welcome to Easter Sunday, and I hope that the Easter Bunny has arrived at your house. Keep those kids entertained with a bit of sugar and chocolate. It's always the way to go. For those of you who didn't, you stuck with me and you're going to be looking at doing some exercises for that shoulder of yours. Rightio, so yesterday what we did was we looked at the 90-90 test for your shoulder, which was standing, getting your arm up to 90 degrees of shoulder and elbow movement, and then looking at trying to rotate that. Right? We did that on both sides, and then we looked at that in golf posture. So we got into golf posture, and now we want to see obviously our arm rotate back further than our spine angle. So on my left side here I'm quite tight, on my right side here I can definitely get past. Okay, so today I'm going to work through a couple of shoulder stretches for you. We're going to look at both rotations. So this movement here is external rotation and abduction, as we call it. It's a hard movement for a shoulder, and it's the shoulder movement that normally happens when you're throwing a ball. Now, it's coupled though with internal rotation, which is the other way. So we want to look at both rotations of a shoulder if we're stretching it, to ensure we don't stretch that shoulder joint in one way and not the other. So I'll look at two stretches for each direction. So the first one is a simple lying external rotation stretch. Okay, so we're going to lie down onto our side here, onto our back. We're going to have our arm up into that same position that we had last time, and then we're going to simply just try and rotate back. Now if you feel quite tight there or a bit pinchy in the back of the shoulder, okay, so this can just go on and off. If you feel that pinch in the back of the shoulder, then just grab a towel, okay, just place that under your elbow there just to lift it up a little, and that'll just help decrease a bit of that pinching. Now again, if you find that's quite tight and you want a decent stretch, then just grab something like a drink bottle, keep your arm in that same position, and give it a bit of a stretch there with a bit of weight. Okay, you really want to make sure you control this too. Okay, so that's the first exercise for external rotation. Now the other exercise for that same movement is going to be looking at trying to stretch out the back of the shoulder. So to do that, we're going to bring arm straight up in front of us. We're going to then hook our other elbow underneath that elbow and pull, using that right arm there, pull across your body. And I feel a really good stretch across the back of the shoulder. Now if you get any pain in through the front here, just be careful of that, because it may be a bit of shoulder impingement. And for those of you that have had rotator cuff issues in the past or even shoulder surgery, just go easy with these stretches to begin with. We don't want to stir anything up. And if you do have any real big problems with it, feel free to just contact me, and we'll talk through some alternatives for you. Okay, so those are the two stretches to look at your external rotation. But we also want to look at the ability to internally rotate a shoulder or get it up behind our back, because quite often we find people are very, very tight with this. So again, what we can do is we can use a towel, and you want to take this in your arm you're not stretching and bring it over the back of your shoulder. Now from behind here, what you want to do is grab that towel with the other hand just at a comfortable level, and then using this hand up in here, we're going to stretch up behind our back and feel a stretch in that shoulder. Okay, so stretch up. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see heaps of hitching here at the shoulder. Try and keep your shoulder blade down and try and get that rotation happening. Okay, so just on and off. Feel a decent stretch in behind that shoulder. All right. And then the last stretch for today is the sleeper stretch. I think it derives its names from a sleeper hold in wrestling. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll show you the stretch both standing and also lying. Okay, so to do it standing, we need to be up against a wall. The upper part of our arm here is right against the wall. Okay? And if you're doing it right, you'll be forming like a tabletop here with your forearm. From here, just take the other hand over the back of your wrist, and you're trying to rotate that arm down without feeling like you're lifting your shoulder blade off the wall. If you lift that shoulder blade off the wall, then you're not actually getting shoulder rotation. You're going to be getting movement at your shoulder blade against your back. So with this one, just try and take it on and off. Don't hold it. And you only want to do probably about a minute of that once or twice a day. Any more than that, you may find it actually just makes your shoulder a wee bit sore. So to do that in lying, what we're going to do is get lying on our side that we're stretching. Okay. Now we can be up against a wall here as well. It's quite handy because what you want to do is keep your shoulder blade back against that wall to keep that engaged. And then shoulder again in that same position. All right, make sure a 90-90 to start with, and then hand over the back of what would be a watch for most of you, and then look at trying to turn down here. Now, normal range of movement with this can sometimes, if that was 0 degrees, we want to see probably about 70 degrees of movement. Now, I know in this shoulder here, I'm lucky if I've got 45, and I do really feel this in this shoulder, so I need to work hard on this one. Okay, so that's the sleeper stretch and lying. Right, so there's 4 simple shoulder stretches to try to see if that improves that 90-90 test. Now you need to do stretches for a good 12 weeks before you're going to see any significant change. That's the problem with stretching. People don't do it for long enough to get the results. And then that was what we hear all these stories about stretching not being effective. So look, stick at it. What you want to do at the end of all this video series is you should find that you've got 4 or 5 exercises that you really need to work on, and you can do that as a sort of specific golf program for you to increase your ability to be able to hit that ball further, straighter, more accurate, whatever you'd like. More powerful is probably the one that most people are after. Alright, so look, enjoy those shoulder stretches, and tomorrow we're going to elaborate a wee bit more on shoulders with doing the lat test. We'll see you then.